Yo, what's happening, world? Name's Raheem Flowers. And I want to give a shout out to that brother who said that I probably watch anime and I don't get pussy like that. Give him a shout out, man. He ain't wrong about that. I don't get pussy that often, but I live in my truth. Man, you live in your truth, nobody can use that shit against you. As a hypocrite once said, by the name of Charlemagne the God. Anywho, speaking of black men, since we're on the subject of black men, I want to talk about how the media will portray black men in a manner of being adventurous and will exalt us when it comes to the sexual prowess and how we're looked in high regard only when it comes to the entertainment industry. Nas had a famous quote. Well, not a famous quote, but he had an interesting passage in a song called America, where he said that, yeah, we excel in the entertainment industry, but ain't enough niggas in places like NASA when it comes to those residuals. And it made me think to myself, when I was just looking up films and upcoming movies, whatnot, where Samuel L. Jackson was going to do a reboot of a blaxploitative film that he once revamped, known as Shaft. Now, I'm noticing that since the Black Panther movie came out, you got people talking about Wakanda, you got people, it seems like there's a rise, a renaissance, you can say, within the black sector. But I still would say, to be the contrarian, to be the devil's advocate, and to look at things in a critically and objective manner, in a critical thinking manner, that this is still superficial because nothing is getting done tangibly. At least not on the surface, because you got brothers out there doing work, but it's too many people in the shadows. Shout out to one of the brothers who's big on like hip-hop media outlets. I think his name is Casino4. Excuse me if I'm saying your name wrong, brother. Shout out to him for showing that brother whose name was Marshawn, who has an app for taxes, who's making it easier when it comes to that transaction. So I'm gonna send a link in below for that. I think that needs to be done more, because instead of just being looked at as, yeah, you that nigga, and the feeling that you give to women are enticing, and when it comes to this industry, especially the music industry, you've seen so many cats go to jail. Even G Herbo's in jail recently. You got that Tay K dude in jail. You got Bobby Shmurda in jail for like over a century. I mean, it needs to get to a point where black men, you don't just want to be known as that person with a big dick, and you don't want to be known as that person who's about that life and has that gangster lifestyle and whatnot. That's what that reboot of Shaft prompted me to think about. You want to be that person who's like the brother, that Nigerian brother Philip, I can't pronounce his last name, who opened doors and laid foundations for what we use as the internet today. And I'll send a link to him as well. This is what needs to be done. I mean, I'm in the process of trying to build a site, and I've already gathered certain individuals. I won't say the names right now, but I already gathered 2 people, and there's at least 2-3 more people that I want to gather. I'm feeling like Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece. Super Saiyan God Super Shirt of Goku's making me think about that. Anywho, that's what I think about. I mean, I salute G Herbo for being able to articulate himself and trying to do something positive for himself. And he's sharing that with his music, and his storytelling is very vivid. Like his track Malcolm on Humble Beast. But still, I mean, you're gonna have a kid soon, G Herbo, Lil Herb. And that's not an example you want to set, my brother. That's not me taking shots at G Herbo. We both come from the same city, Chicago. But I gotta call what it is. I gotta call a spade a spade. I mean, I even think about when Chance donated, $1 million but it went still to like the likes of the Board of Education. You don't want people like that. You don't want that type of money going into them, because they have done nothing constructive and positive for kids. That's why Rahm Emanuel, his ass was able to shut down a bunch of schools back in 2012, 6 years ago. And now you got these niggas running around in the streets. But hey, he was responsible. I mean, hell, he played a big role in the police force in New York. So what do you think he's gonna do in Chicago? They're gonna really try to implement martial law on this bitch. And with all these gang activities that transpired and what cats like Chicago World News show you, I mean, what's gonna be the next step? What do you think is gonna be the next sequence? It's gonna be, hey, I see you niggas acting this way, so boom. Not only are we gonna implement martial law, we're going to also embed more gentrification, because I've been doing research on these gentrifications that go on in like a neighborhood that I resided in known as Uptown. Uptown was a place where cats like rappers known as Young Pappy would hang around. And that's where, correct me if I'm wrong, EC Illa, because they call the North Side the North Pole. But anyways, my point in saying that is, when I think about a white guy like Chicago World News pointing out this shit, going into these hoods, and then demonstrating to you and observing to you how it looks like, I mean, the only outcome is boom. I'm sorry that I'm just basically repeating myself, but I'm just really pondering on that. I even had a conversation with a dude that lives in my neighborhood, and he was telling me about the differences in Chicago and how so much things have changed, like even this last 15 to 20 years, and I've seen the change. Like back in the late 90s when I was a little kid, I noticed how even on the north side of Chicago, which is considered the safer side, you had all these gangbangers going out here just fucking shit up. You know, making it harder for people just to live their life, because as far as I'm concerned, these motherfuckers are domestic terrorists. And unfortunately, when it comes to black people and black men, that's something that we always feel inclined to, which goes back to the whole blaxploitative roles. Because to be honest with you, that's the pioneering of pimping and hoeing. That's the pioneering of the Foxy Browns. Yes. So, hey, Samuel Jackson's the same dude who is really cool with Quentin Tarantino, who also made blaxploitative films back in the day. I mean, and this is what has become the defining and what's that word? It's like you reach your plateau. There we go. It's like that's like the prime and the top of the totem pole for black men is being pimps, being gangsters, being somebody who is poison to their community. And yes, you have dudes out here, you have black men out here doing something, which I demonstrated and referenced earlier, but that is not the face of black men. The face of black men are dudes who induce fear and are domestic terrorists to the neighborhoods, rather than somebody who's out here doing something innovative. That's what it is. It's just like comparing these rappers today. Yeah, you have talented rappers. Yeah, you have plenty of cats. You got good dudes like Science. You got dudes like Elzai. You got dudes like Black Milk. You got rappers like Wax, Herbal Tea, Freddie Gibbs, Mick Jenkins, Gold Link, Oswin Benjamin, Big Pun Son. You got Flatbush Zombies. Dude, I can go on with talented rappers, but are they the face? Are they the frame of reference when it comes to hip hop? They are not. And you know, you could blame fuck niggas like Academics and Complex with a bunch of white hipsters who don't know a goddamn thing about hip hop and these Jews in the industry. And you could thank Detective Vlad. Whew. But at the end of the day, it's up to us. You can't expect outside forces who want to improve their well-being and who want to live comfortably, you can't expect them to not only secure your future, but to refine who you are and how you move and what you do for your community. It's us at the end of the day. So when people talk about and even when you think about women, when they lust over us as black men, don't think about it. That's like a backhanded compliment in a lot of ways, because they see you as some sort of sex god, but they don't. It tends not to go any further than that. I'm not saying it's not love out there when it comes to these interracial dating, but that's not the thing that comes to mind primarily. So that's just something I want my other black brothers to think about. You know? I won't tell you how to live your life. I won't tell you how to move, but I just want you to take heed to what I'm saying, because this is something I remind myself of every day. That's why I take it upon myself to finish. I even finished reading a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and I still got things to do, you know? So with that being said, I'm out. Peace. Let me get some feedback. One love.